In the peaceful and prosperous land of Yuyo, nestled between green hills and fertile rivers, there lived a powerful king named Bamadil. King Bamadil was a man of integrity and wisdom. For decades, he ruled the land with justice, ensuring that every subject, no matter their status, felt the warmth of his care. His heart was as large as the kingdom itself, and the people loved him for his humility and fairness. Bamadil's name was often mentioned in prayers, as the people believed his leadership was a gift from the gods. King Bamadil had 2 sons. His first son, Ayomide, was intelligent and ambitious. He always dreamed big and saw the kingdom's potential to be even greater than it already was. The second son, Olamide, was compassionate and wise beyond his years. He believed in preserving peace and harmony above all else. As time passed, King Bamadil's health began to decline. His once vigorous body became frail, and the spark in his eyes dimmed. The people of Yuyo were saddened to see their beloved king grow weaker with each passing day. One fateful evening, he summoned the elders of the land to his palace. "My people," he began in a soft but firm voice, "I feel the call of my ancestors. My time among you is coming to an end. But before I go, I must ensure that Yuyo remains in good hands." The room fell silent as the elders listened attentively. "After my passing," King Bamadil continued, "crown Ayomide as the next king. He is my firstborn and the rightful heir to the throne. I have full confidence in his ability to lead this great land." The elders nodded in agreement, and with heavy hearts, they prepared for what was to come. Weeks later, King Bamadil passed away peacefully and was laid to rest with all the royal rituals. The people mourned deeply, but they also knew that the future of Yuyo rested on Ayo's shoulders. The coronation was held, and Ayo was crowned the new king of Yuyo. However, King Ayo had a dream that went beyond the borders of Yuyo. He wanted to further his studies abroad to bring new ideas and innovations back to his kingdom. A few weeks after his coronation, he summoned the elders to share his decision. "My elders," Ayo said, "I am grateful for the honor of being crowned king, but I believe there is more I must learn to make Yuyo a greater land. I have decided to travel abroad to study. While I am away, my brother Olamide will oversee the affairs of the kingdom. He has my full trust, and I know he will rule wisely." The elders were surprised, but eventually agreed. Ayomide left the kingdom, and Olamide took over as the acting king. Despite the initial doubts, Olamide quickly proved himself. He ruled with wisdom, compassion, and fairness. Under his leadership, Yuyo flourished. Roads were repaired, markets thrived, and the people felt safe and happy. 2 years later, Ayo returned to a grand welcome. The entire kingdom gathered to celebrate his arrival. Drummers played energetic beats, dancers performed, and the people cheered as Ayo entered the palace. During a private conversation, Olamide shared all that had happened during Ayo's absence. "Brother, I did my best to rule wisely. These are the challenges I faced, and this is how I overcame them." Ayomide smiled and said, "You have done well, my brother. May the gods continue to bless you." The following week, the elders and Olamide organized a grand celebration to officially welcome Ayomide back as king. The palace courtyard was transformed into a scene of magnificence. Traditional drummers, dancers, and singers gathered to perform for their beloved king. Colorful decorations adorned the palace walls, and the aroma of delicious local dishes filled the air. Elder Amadi, one of the most respected elders in Yuyo, approached Olamide during the celebration. With a cunning smile, he whispered, "Long live my king." Olamide raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean, Elder Amadi? I am not the king. Ayo is the rightful heir." Elder Amadi leaned in closer and said, "My lord, you have ruled this land with wisdom and strength. The people adore you. After all the sacrifices you've made, is it fair for you to give up the throne so easily?" Olamide frowned. "Elder Amadi, I only ruled in my brother's absence. It was my duty as his younger brother. Now that he is back, the throne is his." But Elder Amadi was not ready to give up. "The people of Yuyo love you, Olamide. They see you as their king. Let me handle this. Leave everything to me." After the celebration, Elder Amadi secretly called a meeting with the other elders. He spoke passionately about Olamide's leadership and how the people of Uyo thrived under his rule. Olamide has proven himself to be a great king, Amadi said. Do we truly believe Ayo, who has spent years abroad, can continue this legacy? The gods have shown us who the true king is. The elders murmured among themselves, some agreeing while others hesitated. But how can we go against the tradition? One elder asked. Amadi smiled. Traditions are meant to serve the people. If the people want olamide, then it is the will of the gods. Meanwhile, Olamide began to feel uneasy. Elder Amadi's words lingered in his mind. He loved his brother dearly and had never desired the throne. But as he walked through the streets of Uyo, he noticed how the people greeted him with admiration and respect. Long live our king, some would say, bowing deeply. Children ran to him with gifts of fruits and flowers, and the traders called out blessings as he passed. Olamide couldn't help but wonder, was Amadi right? Had the gods chosen him to lead? Unaware of the growing tension, Ayo focused on reconnecting with the people and planning the future of Uyo. One evening, he called Olamide to discuss new ideas. Brother, Ayo began, I want to modernize our schools and bring in better farming techniques. I learned so much abroad, and I believe these changes will benefit our people. Olamide nodded, but his heart was heavy. He hesitated before saying, Ayo, you are wise, and your ideas are good. But have you thought about how the people feel? They have grown used to my leadership. Change may not come easy. Ayo smiled and said. That is why I need you by my side, Olamide. Together, we can make Uyo greater. Elder Amadi's plan was set into motion. He began spreading rumors among the villagers, subtly suggesting that Olamide was the true king chosen by the gods. The people, already fond of Olamide, started to question the return of Ayo. Why should he come back and take over when Olamide has done so well? They whispered. The elders, now swayed by Amadi, approached Olamide. The people want you to stay on the throne, my king. We must act before Ayo asserts his authority. Olamide was torn. As days passed, the whispers in the village grew louder. Stories of Olamide's wisdom and leadership spread far and wide, overshadowing Ayo's accomplishments abroad. The people began to feel that Olamide was the true king chosen by the gods. One afternoon, Olamide sat alone in the palace garden, his thoughts heavy with doubt. The once serene chirping of birds and the soft rustle of the palm trees now felt distant. He remembered his childhood days with Ayo, their shared laughter, the lessons from their father, and the bond they had built. Am I betraying my brother just by listening to the people? Olamide muttered to himself. His musings were interrupted by Elder Amadi, who approached with a confident stride. My king, Amadi said, bowing deeply. Elder Amadi, Olamide replied, his tone weary. What brings you here again? Amadi smiled slyly. I came to remind you of your destiny. The gods have spoken through the people. They love you, Olamide. They need you. Do not let tradition hold you back. Take what is rightfully yours. Olamide shook his head. But Ayo is my brother. I cannot betray him. Amadi stepped closer, lowering his voice. Ola, he said, sometimes, we must make difficult choices for the greater good. This is not betrayal, it is duty. Olamide stared at the elder, torn between loyalty to his brother and the growing call of the people. Meanwhile, ayomide remained unaware of the growing unrest. He continued his efforts to reconnect with the people, visiting villages and listening to their needs. On one such visit, he stopped at a bustling market. Your Majesty, we are honored by your presence, said one of the market women, a middle-aged woman named Adeni, who handed him a basket of fruits. Ayomide smiled warmly. The honor is mine, Adeni. Tell me, how can we improve the market for you and others? Adeni hesitated, then said, My king, we are grateful for what you and your family have done, but many of us feel that Olamide understands our struggles better. He has been here with us, solving our problems. Ayo's smile faltered. Do you mean to say the people no longer want me as king? Adeni lowered her head. We respect you, my king, but Olamide has become one of us. He listens. He acts. Ao's heart sank, but he nodded. Thank you for your honesty, Adunni. I will do my best to earn the love of my people once more. That evening, Ao confronted Olamide in the palace. Brother, Ao began, his voice firm but calm, I have heard troubling things. The people believe you are the rightful king. They say you should remain on the throne. Olamide looked away, his guilt evident. Ao, I never asked for this. I only wanted to serve while you were away, but the people. The people are confused, Ao interrupted. You are my brother, Olamide. I trusted you to care for the kingdom in my absence, not to take my place. Olamide stood, his frustration bubbling to the surface. I did not take your place. I ruled because you left. I sacrificed everything for this kingdom while you were gone, learning in a foreign land. The tension between the brothers was palpable. Both men were torn, each believing they were doing what was best for Yuyo. Word of the confrontation spread quickly. The village became divided, half supporting Ayomide and the other half supporting Olamide. Families argued, friends quarreled, and the once united Yuyo began to fracture. At the heart of the conflict, both brothers felt the weight of their decisions. Olamide turned to Elder Amadi for guidance, while Ayomide sought counsel from the older, wiser Elder Tund, a man known for his impartiality. Ao, Tund said, the people's hearts have shifted, but do not lose hope. Show them the leader you can be. Actions speak louder than words. After weeks of unrest, a meeting was called in the palace courtyard. All the villagers gathered, eager to see what would happen. Ao and Olamide stood side by side, their faces solemn. Ayomide stepped forward. My people, he began, Yuyo is my home. You are my family. I left to learn and grow, so I could serve you better. But I see now that my absence has caused division. I love my brother, and I respect all he has done for this kingdom. Today, I will let the gods decide who should lead Yuyo. Gasps filled the courtyard as the villagers exchanged shocked glances. The palace courtyard was tense as Ao's proclamation echoed through the crowd. The villagers murmured, unsure of what the trial by the gods would entail. Elder Tund, wise and respected, stepped forward to mediate. Brothers, Elder Tund said, his voice calm and steady, if we are to call upon the gods to decide, we must follow the sacred tradition. You will each face a test, and the gods will reveal their chosen king. The crowd erupted into whispers as the elders prepared for the trial. Elder Tund continued, the first test will measure wisdom, and the final one will measure the heart of a king, compassion. Olamide and Ayomide exchanged glances. Though tension lingered between them, the bond of brotherhood remained. I am ready, Ao said firmly. As am I, Ola also replied, his voice steady. The first test was a riddle posed by Elder Tund. He presented a simple clay pot and said, this pot has a crack in its side, yet it carries more water than any other pot. How is this possible? Ayomide thought for a moment and replied, it is impossible for a cracked pot to hold more water than a whole one. Olamide, however, stepped forward and said, the cracked pot waters the plants as it leaks. It gives life to the crops along the way, which makes it more valuable than a pot that carries all the water to one place. The villagers erupted in applause. Elder Tund nodded approvingly. Olamide, your answer shows deep understanding. The gods favor wisdom that benefits others. The final test was the most challenging. The brothers were brought to a village where two families were feuding over a piece of land. Each family pleaded their case passionately. Ao listened carefully and proposed a solution. Divide the land equally, he said. Each family will have a portion to farm and build on. Olamide, however, noticed a sick child in one of the families. He offered his own portion of royal land to the family, saying, use this to grow your crops. The child's health is more important than anything else. The villagers were moved to tears. Elder Tund declared, Ola, your compassion shows the heart of a king who puts others before himself. The trials concluded, and the villagers gathered once more in the palace courtyard. Elder Tund raised his hands for silence. "The gods have spoken," he announced. "Olamide has proven himself to be wise, courageous, and compassionate. He is the king the gods had chosen." The crowd erupted in cheers, but Olamide turned to Ayomide, his eyes filled with tears. "Brother," he said, "I never wanted to take the throne from you. I only wanted to serve our people." Ao stepped forward and placed a hand on Olamide's shoulder. "You have served them well, Ola. The gods have made their choice, and I will honor it." The brothers embraced, their bond stronger than ever. Olamide was officially crowned king of Uyo, but he invited Ayomide to stay and serve as his closest advisor. Together, they worked to make Uyo a land of peace, wisdom, and prosperity. The people rejoiced, for they knew their kingdom was in the hands of two brothers who loved their people as much as they loved each other. So the kingdom thrived, as both brothers used their unique wisdom to rule Uyo together. Lesson learned: the story reminds us that true leadership is not about power or position, but about serving others with humility and compassion. The strongest bonds are those forged in love, understanding, and mutual respect. The end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share with friends and family. Also drop your thoughts on the comment box. Subscribe to get notified for more interesting stories. I love you and God bless you. See you in my next video.